There is a gas on Earth that is made almost entirely by living things. Ocean plankton breathe it out by the billion tons. It is, quite literally, the smell of the sea. In April 2025, a team pointed the most powerful telescope ever built at a world 124 light-years away and said they could see that gas in the air of another planet, the strongest sign of alien life ever recorded. And then the most powerful scientists on Earth went to war over whether it was real. 15 months later, a dozen teams have taken that claim apart, piece by piece. What's left standing is not what either side expected. And before this is over, I'm going to say the number out loud. By the end of this, I'm going to hand you 3 tests. 3 questions that kill any "We found aliens" headline in about 10 seconds. Keep them. This is Signal. K218b orbits a small, cool red star in the constellation Leo. It's a sub-Neptune, bigger than Earth, smaller than Neptune. And it's the most common kind of planet in the galaxy that we don't have a single example of at home. It sits in the habitable zone. It drinks almost the exact light Earth gets from the sun. And one scientist looked at it and dreamed. Niku Madhusudan at Cambridge imagined it as a Hycean world. A single ocean wrapped around an entire planet, warm water with no shore in any direction under a thick hydrogen sky. A red sun overhead and a year that passes in 33 days. If a world like that is real, it might be the best place in the whole galaxy to go looking for life. And in 2023, Webb looked. Methane. There. Carbon dioxide. There. No ammonia. Exactly what you'd expect if an ocean were drinking it out of the sky. And buried in that same light, a whisper. Dimethyl sulfide. DMS. The sea smell gas that, on Earth, life makes. 2 years later, April 2025, the team turned Webb's mid-infrared eye on this world, and the whisper became a claim. DMS. Maybe its cousin, dimethyl disulfide, and not a trace. Thousands of times more than Earth's entire sky. Madhusudan went on the BBC and called it the strongest evidence yet that there is possibly life out there. He said he might confirm it within a year or 2. For about a day, it felt like the answer to the oldest question we have was quietly arriving. We are not alone. And then other people did the most dangerous thing in science. They checked. That gap between the headline and the paper is the whole reason this channel exists. We don't read you the press release. We read the paper and the dozen papers that answered it. If that's the version you want, subscribe. You need one number to follow what happens next. 3 sigma. That's the strength the team reported. And on the scale scientists actually use, 3 sigma is not a discovery. It's moderate evidence. A maybe with good manners. The bar to say you've truly found something, the bar that confirmed the Higgs boson, is 5. So the investigators came, and the first one asked the cruelest question of all. His name is Jake Taylor. No molecules, no models. One brutal test. He asked the data a single thing. Is there anything here at all? Or would a flat, empty line, a planet with no features whatsoever, fit you just as well? In 5 of 6 tests, the flat line won. Then Kevin Stevenson's team measured the raw jitter in the data, the random static between neighboring points. That noise, 663 parts per million. The signal everyone fell in love with? About 250. No. The noise was more than twice the size of the thing they found. And it got stranger. The signal depended on a choice. How you group the raw data. Group it one way, the alien gas appears. Group it another, it's gone. Same telescope, same night, a different planet depending on who's holding the data. But Madhusudan did not fold. He fired back. The mid-infrared carries real information the critics throw away. That's not denial, that's a testable claim. The fight was on. Then, the deeper problem. Suppose the feature is real. Does it even mean life? At these wavelengths, Webb doesn't see DMS. It sees one tiny fragment of chemistry, a stretch of carbon and hydrogen. And that fragment lives inside dimethyl sulfide, yes, but also inside ethane, and propyne, and methanethiol, and half the organic molecules that exist. It's not a fingerprint, it's a family resemblance. It's identifying a suspect from he had 2 arms and a face. Tate. So Raphael Luque's group combined every one of Webb's instruments and found something almost funny. Plain ethane fits the alien life data just as well. In some analyses, better. Ethane. The gas you get when sunlight hits methane. It's on Titan, on Jupiter, on Saturn. Possibly the most boring molecule in the cosmos. And it wears the biosignature like a borrowed coat. And then, the blow that came from inside the house. Madhusudan's own team took the same data and searched a library of 650 molecules. And that famous 3 sigma signal didn't just light up for the sea smell gas of life. It lit up for diethyl sulfide, for methyl acrylonitrile, for molecules no one on Earth believes are there. The lab that made the claim showed that its own method says maybe to almost anything. And the quietest problem of all, when every team tried to model this gas, they found there were no proper lab measurements of how it even absorbs infrared light. Everyone leaned on numbers from 2004, 1 temperature, a jar of nitrogen, and just assumed they'd hold in a hydrogen sky 124 light-years away. We announced possible alien life, with a molecule we hadn't finished measuring on Earth. And then the man at the center of the storm did something no one expected. He agreed with them. Niku Madhusudan did not lie, and he did not dig in. He wrote to CNN and confirmed the critics' own math. Only evidence at or below 3 sigma, he said. Moderate evidence or hints, not a strong detection. Sit with that. The scientist who made the biggest claim in modern astronomy publicly confirmed the arithmetic of the people tearing it apart. And still did not walk away, because his real argument was never, I proved life. It was narrower and sharper. There is a real signal in the mid-infrared and the story isn't finished. That's not denial. That's a bet, with a date on it. Here is the detail that tells you everything about how this is supposed to work. While the chemists fought, 2 of Earth's great radio observatories, the Very Large Array in New Mexico and Meerkat in South Africa, had already turned toward K2-18b and listened. Not for chemistry, for a transmitter, for a broadcast, for anyone. And on the paper reporting that search, the search that listened for aliens and heard none, one of the authors is Niku Madhusudan. The man who made the claim signed the paper that tested it and came back empty. They listened across a huge span of frequencies long enough to cover a full year on that world, 33 days. They logged millions of signals. Every single one was us. Aircraft, satellites, our own noise thrown back off our own sky. From K2 to 18b itself, nothing. But be careful what that silence means. It means no one over there is broadcasting. It does not mean no one is there. Earth was radio silent to the cosmos for 4 billion years while it teemed with life. Plankton don't build radios. The sea is almost always quiet. And then, 2026. The blow everyone was waiting for. A lab, Shangmin Tsai's team, finally measured for real how DMS absorbs infrared light. Actual numbers, at last. They fed them back into K2-18b and reran the whole story. And the data fit an ordinary sub-Neptune. No alien gas required. And here's a conflict I'm not going to hide from you, because it's the honest part. The earlier NASA analysis had pointed to a water-rich interior, a genuine ocean world clue. This newest lab paper says it doesn't see that. 2 teams, same planet, opposite readings. When that happens, the newer, better measured result gets the weight. But you deserve to know they disagree. Now, the amount. The one card Madhusudan keeps playing. He claims a huge amount of this gas, thousands of times Earth's. Too much, he argues, for any dead source, a comet, a lab spark, and he's right about that half. But watch the other half, because almost no one says it out loud. That same enormous amount is also too much for plausible life. To pump out that much DMS, a biosphere would have to run about 20 times harder than Earth's entire ocean. And on a world flooding its sky with that much gas, the star's ultraviolet light would break it apart into ethane. The ethane isn't there. So the amount doesn't rescue the claim. It traps it. Too big for a dead planet. Too big for a living one that stays quiet. The number that was supposed to be the smoking gun points at the exit. So, signal or noise? I'm going to split this into the two questions everyone keeps blurring together, because the honest answer to one is a hard no, and the honest answer to the other is wide open. Question 1. Is there life on K2-18b? On the evidence we have, no. Not maybe. Not unresolved. Noise. The 3 sigma signal softens the instant you let the model breathe. A dozen boring molecules fit as well or better. The claimed amount contradicts itself, and the one lab measurement that was missing now points to an ordinary planet. Anyone who told you Webb found alien life got 15 months ahead of the data. The needle isn't in the middle, it's deep in noise. Question 2. And this is the one that's actually alive. What is this world? Because not life does not mean boring, and it does not mean solved. Right now, there are 3 planets on the table, and we cannot yet tell them apart. It could still be Madhusudan's Hycean world, a warm ocean under hydrogen. It could be a gas-rich mini-Neptune, no ocean at all. Or it could be a magma world, a surface hot enough to melt rock. An ocean, a gas ball, or a sea of lava. Same point of light. We do not know which. That is the real mystery, and it was hiding under the alien headline the whole time. So here's what would swing the life needle back, and when. It would take a clean detection above 5 sigma of DMS and a second independent gas with real opacity data underneath it. And more Webb observations of this exact world have already been taken. 4 fresh transits, with the analyses landing now. 1 to 2 years. That is when this stops being an argument and becomes an answer. And look at what actually happened here. Because this is the opposite of a failure. A bold claim was made in the open. Within 15 months, a dozen independent teams tore into it and published every crack in public for anyone to read. No cover-up, no gatekeeper. The fastest immune response in the history of science, running in real time on the question of whether we are alone. That's not scientists are baffled. That's the most powerful truth machine our species ever built, doing exactly its job. And it handed you 3 tools. The 3 I promised you at the start. Run them on the next headline that swears it found aliens. 1. The family resemblance test. When they show you a fingerprint, ask if it's actually unique, or just a smear of carbon and hydrogen a dozen molecules share. 2. The wobble test. Ask if the result survives being touched. If it appears with one way of reading the data and vanishes with another, it isn't a discovery. It's a choice. 3. The noise floor test. Ask what else their method lights up for. If it says maybe to molecules nobody believes in, then maybe is just the sound the machine makes. Family resemblance, wobble, noise floor. Carry those 3, and no headline runs 15 months ahead of you again. So picture it one last time. 124 light years away. A small red sun. And a world we still can't name. Ocean, gas, or fire. Under a hydrogen sky where the newest models say lightning could ignite at half the spark Earth needs. Is anything alive under that sky? On the evidence we have, no. Not from this data. But what that world is. We are one clean measurement away from knowing. Closer than any human who ever lived. And the next results are already on their way. The sea is quiet. For now, the sea is quiet. So here's the real question, and I want your answer below. If a telescope sees a gas that, on Earth, only life makes, how sure would you need to be before you'd call it? A. A strong hint is enough. B. 5 sigma and a second gas, or it's nothing. C. No telescope ever, you'll believe it when we go. A, B, or C? And tell me why. Subscribe because we do this every time. Hype in, evidence out. And we say the number out loud. Because next time, we go back to one night in 1977, an Ohio radio telescope, and 72 seconds so strong a scientist circled it by hand and wrote one word in the margin. Wow. They've called it proof of alien contact for almost 50 years. We're going to find out if it was signal or noise. You decide. You?